guys, just want to give you a quick update. I am at a what we call a consignee. It's basically the location to drop the load, and it's nice out here. So when it's well organized, and there's plenty of room to park, and they have a driver's lounge. It's always good. So just wanted to shout out, when you're doing your trip planning, one of the things to do is you got to figure out, especially if you're early and you're new to it, you want to plan about 55 or 60 miles an hour driving time, because you're going to have stops, you're going to have traffic, you're going to have way stations you got to pull in and pull out, and it's going to be really hard to average 60 miles an hour. Our trucks only can go 65, and they don't stay at 65 for long. When you're on longer trips where you're on the interstate only, you'll average 60, but sometimes you'll have stops. You'll be going through some towns, so it just depends. You have to kind of look at the route. So that's an important part of knowing when to get there. You don't want to get there too early, but you definitely don't want to get there late. The dispatch for night transportation is they have 3 metrics for them to get at the end of the month. 1, we're both in agreement, you want to get at least 8,000 miles. I'm between 11 and 14,000 is my goal. And 2, something we don't have any control over, that is the revenue on the load. So they try to pick loads. Sometimes you'll get a load, you'll be like, why am I doing that load? But it's probably because there's good revenue in it for the dispatcher. And if it makes sense for him, they'll generally give you a good load that's a longer distance afterwards, but it just all depends. And the 3rd, we both have control over, well, somewhat control over, is they get bonused on our arriving on time. So as a driver, you want to always try to arrive on time. So what I do is, if I have an 8-hour trip, I try to make it, I try to break it up so I've got 10 hours to do it. I try to arrive a minimum of 1 hour early, and a lot of that is because A, it takes time to find the place sometimes, and if you don't find the place or you pass it, it's going to take time to turn around and come back. You're going to lose 15 or 20 minutes, sometimes 30, depending on the situation of where you're at. And then also when you get there, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to check in and so forth. But what I did learn is, when does a driver get credit for arriving at the consignee or the shipper? So even though I will plug it in when I arrive to the shipper or the consignee in my system, that's my system here. So I don't know if I could see that or not, but anyway, there's different messages that we have to push, like when we arrive to shipper and so forth. So what happens is the GPS on the truck will confirm that you actually arrived at the location that you said that you arrived at. So you want to get there early. Hit arrived at shipper or arrived at consignee, and then that way you get credit for being there on time, and the dispatcher or the DM, which is the driver manager, will be considered hitting his matrix for that load. So that's kind of interesting inside information. Again, the key is, like, I gained an hour coming from Eastern time to Central time, so that helped me a lot with my clock. So instead of getting up at 3 a.m., I was able to get up at 4 a.m., and that helped me to sleep in a little bit and get on the road and get to the location on time, because there's a lot of unknown factors that'll go into that, so you want to keep that in mind. Everything else is going well. Just wanted to give you a quick check-in. Hope y'all are enjoying this. It's not much really to report today. It's just a beautiful day. It was very, very foggy going through southern, like Alabama, Mississippi, and then into Louisiana this morning. I was doing about 35 to 45 miles an hour. When I could not see any traffic in front of me, I look at the white lines, and based on how many white lines I can see, I'll go, each white line is 10 miles an hour for me. So if I only see 3 white lines and it's pitch black after that, I'm only doing 30 miles an hour on the interstate. I got up to the point where I could see about 6 lines, so I got up to about 60 miles an hour. And then when I started seeing some traffic, I could actually see a little bit further than that because of their lights. But honestly, you want to just travel slow and safe, because at the end of the day, it's you want to get the load there safe, you want to get there safe, and you want to arrive early. So well-planned routes are a big deal. Okay, so you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.